Relationships after trauma are not easy for a traumatized person or for the person in the relationship with that traumatized person, and that piece is what we're going to talk about today. Hey guys, my name is Jo Beckwith and welcome back to Trauma Talk. This is by far one of the most highly requested videos that I have ever had. People continue to ask questions about it because there is not a lot of material out there or resources out there for people who are in relationships with traumatized individuals. And that's a challenge because being someone who has been traumatized, being someone who has been sexually assaulted or in a domestic violence situation, or, and I am not this person, but someone who has been through combat or shot or whatever that is extremely hard, is a change of everything, is a mess to deal with mentally, emotionally, physically. But what a lot of people have not provided resources for is for the people helping those people who are not professionals, the boyfriends and girlfriends and family members and spouses and so on and so forth. And so this video today is about if you are in a romantic relationship with someone who has been traumatized, how do you help them? How do you be there for them? How do you take care of yourself at the same time? Being in a relationship with someone who has been traumatized or who is dealing with PTSD or any kind of major mental illness is not easy. It is challenging, and I get that. And I have been blessed to be in a relationship with someone who has worked through things with me. We have a great relationship, but it has not been easy getting there. It has been an uphill battle sometimes. It has been a struggle and a challenge, and a lot of conversations have had to been had. And so here's a few things that I would recommend in general for people if you are in a relationship with someone who has gone through trauma. These are things that were helpful for me being on the other side of it, and some things that may be helpful for you. The first thing is to know that it is not your job to fix them. They are hurting. They are having a hard time. They are going through a lot of difficulty, and when you see someone hurting, we want to help. Like, as human beings, we love someone, we want to fix it, we want to make it better. But know that this is something that you literally do not have the ability to fix. You cannot save them from this. This is a journey that they have to internally make. They have to make it through this. You can be a huge part of that. You can help them through that, but you cannot fix it for them and you cannot save them from it. And I think if you start with that understanding and understand that you are not forced to be the savior in this situation and you can just be there to help, that's a lot of pressure off. And that's a good place to start. And with that being the baseline, if you can build from there and then know that the most important thing that you can do for so many of us, and of course this is personal, but for so many of us, is to listen, to really, really listen, and to ask intelligent questions. Ask how we're really doing. Ask, I don't understand that. I want to understand that. I haven't had the same experiences, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, so could you try to explain that? Could you explain what you're going through? And if you can't explain it, I understand. I want to be there. I want to understand. I'm here to listen. If you can say words and phrases like that, that is so affirming and helps let us know as traumatized individuals that you care, that you're there, that you're not just trying to fix this and you don't just see us as, broken humans, but that you want to come alongside us. And I know that the people who were there and just listened to me in my life did so much good, helped me so much, and were so healing. And the times when people took time to just literally sit and listen and didn't put a time limit on it and didn't try to come up with helpful suggestions or, little lines like, everything works for good, or, you'll be stronger because of this, or anything like that, but literally just listened, was astronomically more helpful than any other time. The next thing I would say is that I realize that triggers are often difficult to deal with if you set them off. It's hard. It's hard when you do something and then suddenly someone has a reaction that is overboard, and you're like, what the hell did I do? Like, all I did was come up behind you and touch you on the shoulder because that's a normal human thing to do. Like, I was trying to hug you, or I was trying to get your attention or whatever, and then suddenly someone's curled up on the floor crying or shaking or scared or whatever. And that's because, that's just an example of it, but that's because you triggered a post-traumatic stress reaction. Understand that that is not you. you didn't do anything to them that caused that. A normal human reaction might be a small startle response or no response or whatever, but because of the previous traumatic experiences that they have been through, something small, something simple, you saying something that reminds them of something in the past, or a noise, or touching them when they don't expect, can set off something that is extremely frightening and is a physical and neurological and psychological and emotional response that they don't initially have control over. Please understand that yes, there are things that you can do to understand those triggers, to learn how not to set them off so much, but that is not your fault. Those triggers are not about you. If, for instance, my trauma is around sexual assault and sexual abuse and domestic violence, and so if I'm in a weird mental place and I just can't think about sex or anything, intimate with my husband, and he, brings it up or whatever, and I'm just not in a place because of the trauma that I've gone through, we had to work through that because it feels like rejection. And in a way it is rejection, but it has absolutely nothing to do with him. So from where I'm coming from, I'm like, I love you, I want to be with you, but I can't right now because my brain is telling me nothing is safe, everything is dangerous. But from where he's coming from, it sounds like I'm rejecting him and I don't want to be with him. And so those were conversations we had to have. Keep those conversation lines open because it's easy to take offense at things that aren't meant to offend. And I'm not asking you, as someone who's in a partnership with someone who has survived trauma, to not talk about things or to always be stoic or to always understand, but to try to, and to push for conversations gently when someone is ready to have them. Because it's important to communicate, it is important to talk through things. If someone freaks out about something and you have no idea why, make sure that you guys can have a conversation about that, because that is how a healthy relationship is built, that's how a healthy partnership is built, and that is really important, especially when someone has gone through trauma. It is vital and challenging to be patient because it's going to be a long journey. I am almost 7 years past the worst of my trauma and I'm still a mess sometimes. I'm still not put together. I'm still not great. I'm still dealing with stuff, and my husband is still very patient. I know that's probably not always easy for him, but he still takes time to listen to the same things he's probably heard 100 times. And that helps me heal every single time. That helps me get closer to a more healed soul, to being a more whole individual. As I've said all of that, what is also really important to understand is that you need to take care of yourself. I know that being there for someone who is in an emotionally compromised place, who is dealing with PTSD or dealing with the aftermath of trauma, again, that's not easy. There are challenging aspects of that, so please take care of yourself. Please, when you need it, get help yourself. Find counseling for yourself. Or if they need it, ask them to find counseling. If it's stuff that you can't deal with, that's okay. Take a break. Go out with friends, just yourself. Do whatever it is that you need to do to recharge. Don't lose yourself in this relationship thinking you just need to take care of this person, because you still need to be your own person, as involved as any relationship can be. And I mean, that's relational advice that goes across the board, but specifically in intense relationships, you need to know that we want you to take care of yourself still. You need to still take care of yourself, and it's okay to still have needs. Even if I'm like not okay, even if I'm not 100%, even if I'm a little triggered, even if I'm whatever, it's still okay for my husband to express that he also had a crappy day, that he's also having a hard time, that he also had, a bad day at work and people are dumb or whatever. Like, I still want to be there for him too. It's not a one-sided relationship just because I feel like I'm a mess. So it is okay for you to have needs, and it's okay for you to take care of yourself, and a relationship does go both ways, even when someone has been traumatized. But understand that there are times when you are definitely going to, need to be there for them, probably more significantly than in a normal relationship, and a lot of patience and a lot of listening will be involved. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that I have explained maybe a few things that could be of use in your relationship, but I would love to hear from you, from what you think. And I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, because I talk every Thursday and every Sunday about topics related to trauma, about what I've been through, about what other people have been through, about topics that are common to all survivors. And the more that you can educate yourself and the more that you can understand trauma and its effects and what people commonly experience, the easier I believe it becomes to interact with someone who is a survivor of trauma and to be understanding, and the easier everything becomes. At least that's my experience. So subscribe to this channel, find yourself other resources, take care of yourself. Remember that it's a long journey, so be patient and try to be understanding and take care of yourself. I am Jo Beckwith and this is Trauma Talk. Hit subscribe before you leave. Please take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much, guys.